Kia ora koutou, Markie here in a car. As you can probably tell, I've arrived early for an appointment, so I had a little bit of time and I had an idea as I was driving, so thought I would share it with you. Now, the way this kind of film looks, I'm just wearing a cape, I look like Count Blinking Dracula. But it's just a fleece. So I'm not in fancy dress or anything. But I am grizzled, and the camera is the wrong way round. It's an iPhone camera and it's the wrong way round. And that's my kind of trademark, really. But there are reasons for it, which are explained in other videos. Okay, so this is a retroactive jealousy video, and I guess you could call this a mindset video. You know, people often use words like mindset and things, don't they? And they say you have to get into the right mindset, but or have the right mentality and things like that, but they very seldom actually kind of go on to say what the right mindset or the right mentality actually is. So I just wanted to share something with you which I think might be a helpful way of looking at things and approaching your recovery, really. So let's say you had a fracture. Okay, you didn't have retroactive jealousy, but you fractured your leg. Okay, not wishing this upon you. And so what would you do? You know, you would go to A&E, which is what we call it in the UK, accident and emergency, or as the Americans call it for some reason, the emergency room, which always makes me laugh. Really, that's kind of bizarre, because why is it a room? It should be a kind of suite of rooms. Or the emergency department, the ED. But don't let me get sidetracked on nomenclature. You would go to a hospital that specialises in such things, you know, emergency, and you would get triaged, and you probably get X-rayed, and you probably get a plaster of Paris, and then you would go home and you'd be kind of told what to do for your recovery. Okay, so you wouldn't need in those sort of circumstances to become an expert on fractures, or an expert on joints and bones, or an expert on healing processes, or you know, a medical expert of any kind. Okay, you would you would just kind of be done unto. You know, you would be told what to do, and you know, things would be done to you, and you would be given some sort of general advice, and you'd be told when to come back, and what to look out for in terms of, you know, if anything goes wrong and stuff like that. But if anything did go wrong, you know, the recourse would be to contact the specialist department that you saw. Okay, now when you have something like retroactive jealousy, you can't have that mindset, you know, that somebody else is going to fix it for you or take care of it for you. And effectively, this is the kind of the big part, really, of this message. You do have to become somewhat of an expert in the condition, you know, because even if you have a lot of therapy, only you can actually do the work. The therapist can't kind of get well for you. So in a way, with things like retroactive jealousy, we do have to become experts to some degree. And this is something that I used to say a lot when I was working primarily with addiction. You know, I'd say, you know, tell exactly the same kind of anecdote, or you know, and that use the same analogy. Because you know, people in recovery from addiction, you know, whether it be alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, whatever it might be, you know, people use words like treatment centres and things like that. But actually, it's not. You know, it's not about what's done unto you. There can be an element of treatment in recovery from addiction, but usually that's the just to the physical side of things, which is a very minor part of the whole recovery process. Sometimes an essential part, certainly a part that makes things safer. But yeah, being treated in a treatment centre isn't really what happens. What happens is you go to a rehab or a treatment centre and you work hard on your own recovery. Nobody does it for you. You have to do it. So like going into rehab, you know, in itself won't make a blind bit of difference to your recovery. It's what you do when you get to rehab that makes a difference. And having worked in rehabs, I've seen people that have used the time very wisely, and I've seen people that have you know, come out no different to when they went in. So so whatever happens, you know, whether you go down the route of you know, doing online programs, or whether you see a therapist, whatever you do, you do have to educate yourself with a condition like retroactive jealousy to a degree. Okay, you do have to learn about the condition in order to understand it and recover from it, and you do have to learn about yourself. So to a degree you need to become an expert, perhaps not to the same degree as you might with some conditions, perhaps not quite to the same degree that you would with recovering from a serious addiction, but certainly far more than you would from a fracture. Okay, so you really need to bone up, if you'll excuse the pun, bone up on the processes that drive, cause, maintain retroactive jealousy, some of the things that get in the way of healing, and why we recommend the techniques for getting well that we do, and understand some of the theory behind that, which is where these videos hopefully will come in useful. So yeah, that is the recovery mindset, or part of the recovery mindset that you need to have to get well from retroactive jealousy. Maybe we'll do some more videos on mindset, where you might make a mini series. So that's it for now. Rangimarie, catch you soon.